What's up, Spartan Nation? It's Jacob Katsunik here back for another episode of the Michigan State Spartans Insider Podcast. It is now Thursday, October 23rd. A couple days away now from the biggest football game of the season. Bar none, every year, without fail, it's going to be Michigan, basically. And this year is no different. Michigan State, it's been rough. There's no other way to describe it. 0-4 in Big Ten play is never going to cut it at anywhere, let alone Michigan State, where people have expectations here, and that's a good thing. You should have expectations for this program, and the program is failing to meet them at the moment right now. But that's kind of also the magic of college football, is things can definitely change. And one of the best ways to do that is to beat your rival. That is Michigan. It is Michigan State's number one rival year in, year out. When the football schedule for every year comes on out, I think they usually announce them actually before the end of the prior football season. Like when you see a football schedule for the first time, really any sport, you look for Michigan. When is Michigan State playing Michigan? That's the first thing you circle on the calendar for that one. And again, it's going to be a big stage, night game, for better or worse, and it's going to be nationally televised. It's on NBC. Noah Eagle will be on the call for that one. I'm personally a fan of Noah Eagle as an announcer. Pretty entertaining guy to listen to. But you get the feeling though that this is kind of it. Like if Michigan State's going to save this season the way it's going right now, you got to find a way here. If you lose this game, you're 3-5, 0-5 in Big Ten play. They would have already clinched then a losing record in the Big Ten play, which again that's happened the last couple of years. It's probably going to happen either way with whatever the result of this one is. But still, like if there's any shot at a bowl game or really anything tangible, progress wise, for this season. It's got to be this game. Michigan State could have won this game last year. I really think they should have won because they outgained Michigan. I think they had control of the game more for a good portion of that game, but they made a couple of costly errors. Jonathan Kim, the kicker, he never misses kicks, but he missed a chip shot on the game's opening drive, I think. It was like a 20-something yard field goal, just kind of really random, it just doesn't happen, and it happened against Michigan. And then there was the fumble from Aiden Childs just before halftime that allowed Michigan to turn it into points. And to some level, again, just the way the game went, it just kind of felt like Michigan understood things better, because they did. They had more players that had played in the game. Both teams had first-year head coaches, permanent ones, Sharon Moore, Jonathan Smith, both now in year 2, but obviously Sharon Moore has that advantage, and I think he had been on Michigan's staff since 2018. I think he said this year his introduction to the rivalry was the Devin Bush incident at Spartans Stadium, where Michigan State was doing the walk tradition. Devin Bush did not get out of the way. Things happened, and Bush eventually, tore up the midfield logo. I'm not here to litigate that incident again. Everyone has their own opinions on what happened, but obviously, that was one of those moments in recent years where that has kind of led up to what has made this a really, really bitter rivalry. You don't even like Michigan-Ohio State. Even Michigan-Ohio State, you don't see so many of these types of incidents now in recent years. Really, Michigan-Ohio State that's probably the best rivalry in college football in the Big Ten. But in terms of just bitterness and stuff that has spilled off non-football wise, it's been Michigan State lately, and hopefully you don't see anything unnecessary this season. I would like to see the rivalry maybe cool down in that regard a little bit and have it more channeled towards the play on the field, but obviously that's outside of my control. But as far as the season goes, I'm going to say it about probably a million times, they need it. They need this game. If they're 3-5 going into Minnesota week, it's just there's no doors left truly besides to like really make people feel good besides this one. If you beat Michigan, there's a whole new phase of okay, there's people out there who are fine losing to whoever as long as you beat Michigan. And there's people out there who I don't care who you beat. beat Michigan. It's still more nuanced than that. Like, is anyone like if this actually happened where MSU goes 1-11 and beats Michigan, is anyone actually happy? You're probably not going to be. But obviously, again, it's nuanced. Michigan State's not going to go 1-11 this year, but they beat Michigan, who says they can't finish 4-8. Would people be happy with 4-8 and a win over Michigan? It's that type of thing. I don't think they'd go if they beat Michigan. I think they'd be able to parlay that into another win or two, and that's kind of the way that it has to go. If they want to get to a bowl game, it has to start with a win in this game, and then use that momentum to maybe go beat Minnesota on the road. Maybe you beat Penn State at home. Penn State's not scaring anyone at the moment. Maybe you beat Iowa. It's Maryland is gettable. Like, there's no Indiana left on the schedule. There's no teams that are just purely going to outclass Michigan State. Is there any team that I think Michigan State is better than on the schedule? No, I don't think so. I think Michigan is the better team in this game, but they're not Indiana. I think Maryland, I think Iowa, I think Penn State even are all better than Michigan State at the moment. Penn State's winless in conference play, but they've lost all their games by one possession. Michigan State has not kept a game within one possession yet in the Big Ten schedule. So, just kind of do the math on that one. But still, they need if they are 3-5 though, and there's no super big rivalry. Penn State, I don't think Michigan State is a rival with Penn State, even though they play for a trophy. There's nothing there, there's no game that would truly build that momentum back up and rally the troops in that sense. It's just you don't want. It's just it'd be. I think you would see. I never want to speak for players, but I think you'd see a lot of fans check out if there's a loss to Michigan. They're 3-5. People are already upset with how the season has gone, understandably so. The team has not made a bowl game in 3 consecutive years already coming into this one, and it certainly looks like it's heading towards a 4th straight year. I mean, if you're a casual Michigan State fan, you just kind of flip on the channel every Saturday. You're not, screaming at it. You're just, I hope they win. Maybe you just see those people be like, yeah, they're going to lose. And they just hardly bother. Maybe it's just background noise, or maybe they don't turn it on at all. That's the type of thing you want to avoid from a fan base, So it's just for Jonathan Smith too. Again, things are uncertain with him. Again, it's a lot of money if you want to move on from him. I don't know what the situation is on the inside. I can't read J-Bat's mind. I don't never heard anything about some super secret donor giving $1 bajillion to the program to go get whichever coach you'd like, potentially. But Jonathan Smith, people didn't like how he handled the Michigan game last year. I thought his press conference on Monday was decent as far as his mentality towards the game goes. Again, I think the team is more ready for this game than they were last year. Is Michigan better than last year? Yeah. Is Michigan State better than last year? Probably not. But Michigan State now does have that experience factor, as does Michigan. Their starting quarterback, Bryce Underwood, hasn't played this game before, though he is the uber-talented true freshman. But Aiden Childs knows what this rivalry is about. Nick Marsh now knows what this rivalry is about. He said his perspective has changed. He had a real interesting press conference on Tuesday. I encourage you to go watch that. But there's players now. There's less transfers. There's less people who are just kind of coming in here like, oh, it's the rivalry game. Oh, it's the big one. They're just kind of la-di-da-di-da. The fans care about this one. Ooh, I better, be rolling. No, there's players now who know what this is. They've had to see Michigan carry the Paul Bunyan Trophy away from them and towards, the Michigan student section. I think that's generally what they do whenever they win it at home. But there's players that want that trophy because this is a part of your legacy at Michigan State. If Aiden Childs, when people talk about Aiden Childs in 10 years, one of those things is going to be, did he go? Well, he's got one loss, but if he wins this year, next year, hey, he went 2-1 against Michigan in a time where the program was in a dark place. It's in a dark place right now. Could this game can be a turning point for Jonathan Smith, for Aiden Childs, for the team. And again, I'm going to be very interested to see what type of effort they put out there because I liked the effort that they had against Indiana, not so much against UCLA. So which version of Michigan State are we going to get? Are they going to out muscle Michigan of all, because Michigan's going to be ready. Michigan's going to be ready. They know what this game's about. As much as they try to do the whole, this is our second rivalry card. It's still a rivalry. Both teams care about this, no matter how much Michigan might pretend that they don't care that much because they have Ohio State. But it matters. It matters to both teams, and that's part of why this is one of the best. This is one of the most underrated rivalries, I think, in college football. One of the best in the Big Ten, and you've seen it from coaches. Like Joe Rossi spoke on Wednesday. Like I kind of joked with him, like, you've played for 2 different Paul Bunyan trophies, because he was at Minnesota before he came to Michigan State. They played for the Paul Bunyan's Axe. And Rossi went down the list of all the rivalries he's been a part of from the time he was in he was playing Division III football to coaching it, and FCS rivalries. He was like, this one trumps them all. That was the word he used, trumps. So this is a big deal. There's no other way about it. Again, I'll be at the game on Saturday. I'll be on the field afterwards to share my thoughts on the game, what the result means for Michigan State. But if they win, this can be a springboard for everyone inside that building. If they do not, it feels like things are going to keep. There's a nosedive going on right now. There's no other way about it. If they don't get the nose back up and get a win against Michigan, it feels like it's just going to keep going down and down and down until there's some changes. So, yeah, that's just how I feel. I think this could be Jonathan Smith, specifically, his last shot to get people back on his side, perhaps. So, yeah, once again, though, I'm Jacob Katsunika. Thank you for listening here or watching it or watching this podcast wherever you are watching it or listening. Thank you again. And, keep tuning in here at SpartanNation.com and at Michigan State Spartans on SI. I'll see you guys around.